So what we're going to talk about today is a lesson from experience presentation. Here at the Home Depot, what we basically do is train our associates. Since we're an execution team, we're of a higher standard than what a store associate is. Basically, a store associate is intended to go and pull a product from the label that we've already labeled and put it in the overhead or give it to the customer or vice versa. That is a basic skill versus what we do on the merchandising team. So as far as training, it's always good for us to, first of all, implement the right amount of training at the right interval and follow up with our associates to make sure that they understand the concept. Because once you have a question, you're going to have a reoccurring question because we experience the same thing day after day, bay after bay, product after product, and vice versa. So, how do you know if an associate knows something that you've actually trained them on? Say you have a PK and the associate is learning how to use a knife. What is a skill level that you would use in order to make sure that they were able to grasp that skill and that it was learned? Okay.
Ask questions?
Exactly. That's what you're going to do. So once you ask questions, you're able to know that that person knows what you're talking about. So, of course, in human resources, what you're going to do, most part, is always be able to spontaneously ask that person in order to wake the room up. That is normally a basic skill that everyone does. So, one thing that you need to do is ensure that they are, first of all, learning the lesson and that they're keeping active and being aware of you as an actual speaker and taking control of the room at the same time, but also making sure that the skill is learned. As far as ways to implement the questions, one example that I would give is to ask it at random. Sometimes I'll finish out a sentence and I'll go on to something else and I'll flip back. Every time we're doing training, everything is not always the sparkles. So we have to make sure that on those downward times that we make sure that we're experiencing and getting involved with the actual associate. So that takes us going over our training methods over and over and over again prior to coming into the training session so that you're able to grasp that before the associate. You never want to not know what's coming up. So that gives you the chance to go in and be able to know your actual lesson before. Because you're going to get random questions asked and you have to make sure to follow up. If you don't know the answer, make sure that you're saying that you are not aware of the answer. I apologize. Okay, so another skill is to ask more than one person the same question. Because a lot of times when you don't answer the question, 2 or 3 people will have different answers to the question. And that gets the whole room to thinking. So once you get the whole room to thinking, that alone will bring the attention. Because sometimes, let's just be honest, people are scared to get called on. It's just like when you're in grade school and you're coming back, you're able to do that. So here at the Home Depot, we have a lot of chances, and the reason why I felt that this was a good experience to bring up is because of my associates. When I first started out on the merchandising team, I was an actual associate. I was promoted from the same team, which is very unlikely with the actual district. Actually, it's against the rules. But as far as how I interacted with my associates, I was able to learn their learning methods and be able to implement it as I go along. So, in order for me to build my skill on being able to train, I decided to transfer to another district, which I'm in now, which is the Gulf District 307, and be able to experience more from what it is. So, retraining and